Okay, since we've been gone from school for a while, I thought this would be a good time to kind of review some of our cafe strategies, our reading strategies that we've been practicing. And as a reminder, CAFE stands for comprehension, accuracy, fluency, and expand vocabulary. And I'm hoping that when you're seeing this bulletin board back here, it's reminding you, oh yeah, we know how to check for understanding and cross-check, and remembering that cross-checking is when you have trouble with a word, an individual word, and that checking for understanding is really something you should be doing all the time, making sure that you're understanding what you're reading and comprehending it. And of course, we just have whole lists of different strategies that we have already been practicing. Well, today I'm going to teach you a new one. Okay, the new strategy that I'm going to teach you guys today and talk to you about is a strategy called asking questions throughout the reading process. What that simply means is, are you asking yourself questions the whole time that you are reading? By doing that, you are just making your brain tune into what it is you are reading, tune into those details, those picky little details sometimes, and it helps you find the story a little more interesting. Because if you are really tuning into every little detail that that author is sharing with you, it's much more interesting to read. Alright, I'm going to read you the story, Listen to the Wind, the story of Dr. Greg and 3 Cups of Tea. This is a book that I bought from the book fair, so I'm kind of excited to read this to you. It is an AR book, for those of you that are interested in that. It's a level 4.6, and it's half a point. So listen to the wind. First of all, please make sure you're paying attention to the really cool pictures that are in this story. That is something else that you can always be doing as you're reading. That's another strategy that we've already learned, is tuning into the pictures. We're the children of Korf. We live in a village in the mountains of Pakistan. Our families grow and gather the food we eat. Our mothers weave and sew the clothes we wear. We make up our games, and we make our own toys. We read our books, and we write with our pencils. We study in the school that we helped to build. Before our school was built, we had lessons outside. We wrote with sticks on the ground. Now right away I'm asking myself, Pakistan, I got to think about where that is in the world, and in a minute here maybe I'll go and take a look at the globe or the world map and find where Pakistan is so that I really have a better understanding of where this story is taking place. And I got some questions. They wrote with sticks in the sand, and they make up their own games, and their mothers sew their own clothes. I'm thinking that this place must not be very much like Spirit Lake, Iowa. That was before a stranger stumbled into our village. He was cold, hungry, and sick. We gave him tea and food and a bed near the fire. He told us his name was Greg Mortensen and that he was a nurse. He had come from the United States to climb our mountains, but he had lost his way. Now this picture, I'm kind of wondering, it looks like they are in a big hole in the ground. What kind of place is this, I wonder? As he grew stronger, he helped to heal our sick. We called him Dr. Greg. Sometimes he sat outside and helped us with our lessons. He knew that our teacher came just 3 times a week, but that we still studied every day. A teacher coming only 3 times a week? I'm thinking that this is a very remote place. This village must be teeny tiny. And as I look at these pictures, if this is really truly what it looks like in Korf, Pakistan, it is very different than Spirit Lake. When Dr. Greg was well enough to go home, he asked Haji Ali, our wisest man, to help him think of something special he could do for Korf. Haji Ali answered Dr. Greg with a puzzle. Listen to the wind, he said. Dr. Greg closed his eyes. From above the village on the high, flat ground where he sat at our lessons, the wind carried our voices down the path. Dr. Greg heard our voices. He felt the wind blow cold against his face, and he understood. Korf needed a school. Dr. Gregg promised to come back and helped build one. We watched him walk away until he disappeared into the folds of the mountains. Now, again, I'm asking myself, what kind of place is this? Is this Corf, Pakistan? When they don't have a school, they obviously have told us they have class outside. I'm having trouble understanding and kind of grasping this whole idea. It seems very different than here. 1 year later, we saw a man walking on the path far below our village. It was Dr. Gregg. We all ran down to meet him. In Skardu, the nearest big town, he had collected the lumber, cement, and tools that we would need to build our school. But high above the Braldu River, we had only a single cable with a small box that could carry a person to our mountain from the next one. There was no bridge. No bridge? I can't even comprehend that. Without a bridge, no one could bring the heavy loads of building supplies to Corf. Okay, and as I'm looking at this picture, to think about these people living over here on this mountain, and they are that cut off from the real world. Interesting. I think I want to learn more. So everyone worked together to build a bridge from our mountain all the way to the mountain on the other side of the river. Many months later, Dr. Gregg and our fathers and friends crossed the strong new bridge, carrying the supplies we needed to build our school. Dr. Gregg came back from the United States to help build a school, brought all the supplies up the mountain, and then had to wait many more months before he could actually get across there. I wonder what he did that whole time. They continued to climb until they reached the place where we had piled a mountain of stones cut from our own mountains. Haji Ali marked the exact spot where our school was to stand. Our mothers carried water to mix the cement. The men began to lay the stones for our classroom walls. With our small fingers, we wedged tiny slivers of stones into the cement to make the walls stronger. Our school grew each day up from the high flat ground where we used to write with our sticks. This is something I can't really picture either, because here in the United States, when we want something built, we hire construction workers, and we hire the people that know how to do that. It sounds to me like these people here in Corf, Pakistan, they all pitched in and they all had to help build. So how did the kids even know what to do? Finally, the men attached the roof. They asked Dr. Gregg to hammer in the last nail. Our school was finished. It was time to celebrate. Oh, you know what? I bet Dr. Gregg must have some sort of like building background or something, some construction type background. And maybe Dr. Gregg was teaching these people how to build with lumber and that kind of thing. Maybe the adults in the village also know how to work with cement and that kind of stuff. Our Imam, Sher Taki, our wise man, Haji Ali, our teacher, Hussein, Dr. Gregg, who kept his promise, Julia, the librarian who brought our books, the craftsmen, the workmen, the porters, the grown-ups of Corf, the children of Corf, and even the yaks and the dazos and the goats and the sheep all marched together to our new school. I think they're pretty excited about having a school, if they even bring their yaks. Sher Taki blessed the building. We ran into our school with Hussein, who now would come to teach us every day. You know what? Do you guys ever stop to think about how lucky you are that you get to go to school every single day? Or do you just consider it to be work? I'm thinking the kids here in Corf think it's pretty special to be able to go to school every single day. I think we're pretty lucky. We are the children of Corf. We live in a village in the mountains of Pakistan. We write in Urdu and English. We add and subtract. We read our books and explore our maps. We are learning in the school that we help to build. We are the children of Corf. Can you hear our voices? Listen to the wind. And then the rest of this book just has some actual photos of Dr. Greg and some of the other people from Corf. This happens to be a true story about a man who really did go and build a school for these people. Okay, so I went and got the globe, and I found the United States on the globe, and I know that we live here in Iowa. In Iowa, you know, we're kind of pretty much right in the middle of the United States. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to track it east. I'm going east, and I'm going to cross the Atlantic Ocean over here to what they call, this section over here is called the Middle East. Here's Iran, and here's Afghanistan, and I know that you've probably heard those two countries in the news. And right below Afghanistan is Pakistan. And as I'm running my finger over this map, and in social studies I know you've been learning about different types of map. This is one of those that has the bumps on it, telling me where the flatlands are and the mountains. Well, as I run my finger over Pakistan, the entire country is bumpy. This country is very mountainous and has some of the tallest mountains in the entire world. Okay, so you saw me ask several questions while I was reading the story, Listen to the Wind. It's also important to ask yourself some questions when you're done reading a book. For instance, what did I learn? I know I learned several things about the children in this little village that I maybe didn't know before. I learned that they're very isolated. I learned that they must be very poor. I learned that maybe here in the United States we need to not take so many things for granted, because not every child in this world gets to go to school every day. And I know sometimes we think that's not so cool, but gosh, these students were very excited about being able to go to school every day. As you are thinking about this new strategy, asking questions during the reading process, do just that. Every single book that you are reading, constantly be asking yourself questions, clarify in your own mind. You can pause for a couple of seconds like I did, or sometimes you just do it automatically as you're reading, and it just kind of helps your brain comprehend what you're doing. I will be coming around and meeting with each of you individually during our individual conferences. That's something I'm going to be looking for in the next few days.